If you're about to roll over your 401k, stop. You could be erasing a six-figure advantage. Here's what most rollover checklists miss. The IRS rules, fee math, and withdrawal timing can change your outcome dramatically. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you when waiting beats moving. You'll get a cleaner decision framework. Start with a number that matters. Before age 59 and a half, withdrawals usually face a 10% penalty. That sounds basic. The mistake is assuming every retirement account follows that rule the same way. It doesn't. A 401k from the employer you leave after age 55 can work differently. The IRS may allow penalty-free access from that plan. Roll to an IRA, and exceptions often disappear. Take Mike, age 58, with $650,000 in his old plan. He wants part-time work. He needs $45,000 a year until Social Security starts. That bridge looks manageable on paper. Keep the money in the plan, and he may access it without the extra 10% penalty. That matters immediately. Roll it to an IRA first, and the same withdrawal can get more expensive. Taxes were already enough. Here's where it gets interesting. A penalty on $45,000 is $4,500. Do that more than once, and the leak grows fast. Convenience suddenly gets very expensive. Across 18 months, Mike could lose roughly $6,750, that is, before ordinary income tax. Most advisors lead with consolidation. Honest analysis starts with access rules because flexibility has a price. Now look at fees. Small percentages seem harmless until decades of compounding turn them into large losses. The Department of Labor gives the example. A 1-point fee difference can cut retirement balances by 28%. DOL starts with $25,000. Lower fees grow at near 2-1, $27,000 over decades. At higher fees, that same account reaches only about $163,000, same market returns, different outcome. That is a $64,000 gap from 1 percentage point. The industry rarely says it that plainly. So before you roll over anything, compare every layer of cost. Expense ratios, advisory fees, and account charges all count. An advisor charging 1% on $800,000 costs $8,000 yearly. Compounding makes that drag worse. Run the numbers first. Never sign simple paperwork before checking the long-term costs carefully. Here is the next hidden issue. Rolling to an IRA can damage your future Roth strategy. Take Sarah, age 47, household income $140,000. She wants a cleaner backdoor Roth strategy. If she rolls pre-tax money into a traditional IRA, the pro rata rule appears. Most savers miss it. The IRS treats all your IRA balances as one pool. You cannot isolate only after tax dollars. That means a small Roth conversion can become mostly taxable. One paperwork decision can distort the strategy for years. Sarah's numbers make this real. A pre-tax IRA with $200,000 can distort her conversion. Almost all of that conversion can become taxable. This depends on your tax bracket, so run your numbers. Leave the money in a qualified plan, and the backdoor path may stay cleaner. That is a major difference. Most people miss this part entirely. They optimize account simplicity and accidentally wreck tax flexibility. Now add required minimum distributions to the picture. Timing matters more than most rollover conversations admit. The IRS says workplace plans may let workers delay distributions until retirement. Traditional IRAs usually do not. There's an ownership caveat here. If you own 5% or more, the exception may not apply. For employees, keeping money inside an employer plan preserves optionality. Rolling to an IRA can start withdrawals sooner. A forced withdrawal changes taxable income. It can push a plan into a less comfortable lane. Your state may have different rules around taxes and protections. That is why shortcuts are dangerous. If you're thinking this sounds backward, you're paying attention. Financial decisions often punish the most obvious move. Behavioral finance explains why. Action bias makes waiting feel passive, even when waiting, protects flexibility, and lowers future costs. During job changes, people crave closure. A rollover feels clean, complete, and emotionally satisfying even when the math disagrees. But emotional satisfaction is not the same as financial accuracy. Many bad money decisions start there. Regulators watch rollover recommendations closely for a reason. Conflicts can show up when advice is tied to assets moving. That does not make every rollover bad. it means the burden of proof should be higher. Here is another number that matters. Legal protection can change depending on which account holds the money. 401k plans usually get stronger federal protection. Outside bankruptcy, IRA protection depends on state law. That distinction matters if you are a physician, contractor, landlord, or business owner. Liability risk changes the equation. Take Dana, age 52, with $900,000 in a former employer plan. She has growing business risk. Moving everything into an IRA might be fine, or it might reduce protections she values later. This is where a fee-only advisor and an attorney can help. Specific risk deserves specific advice. Here's where it gets expensive again. Company stock inside a 401k creates another trap. If you hold appreciated employer stock, net unrealized appreciation rules may matter. Roll quickly, and that opportunity can disappear. Imagine stock with a $50,000 cost basis now worth $250,000. That spread deserves attention. Under the right rules, appreciation may get capital gains treatment later. Inside an IRA, withdrawals are ordinary income. Not everyone has company stock. If you do, pause before touching rollover paperwork and check the tax treatment. Check while we're halfway through. Are you leaning toward the old plan, a new plan, or an IRA? Drop that in the comments. I want to know which direction feels safest to you. And tell me the bigger concern: fees, access, taxes, or the stress of managing too many accounts. Now back to the math. This is where simplification can quietly become the expensive option. Conventional advice says consolidate everything. A cleaner dashboard feels like progress, even when flexibility and tax control get weaker. Sometimes it is progress, sometimes it is just a prettier mistake with better branding and less flexibility. The honest numbers say destination matters more than transfer. Old plans, new plans, and IRAs are not interchangeable. Take Elena, age 57, with $810,000 in an old plan. She wants part-time work. If markets dip and she needs $30,000 at 58, the old plan may offer access. That matters. Move those assets to an IRA too early, and the same withdrawal can trigger $3,000. Leakage. That is not investment risk. It is administrative damage caused by timing, paperwork, and bad sequencing. Here's what behavioral finance research shows. Loss aversion makes people obsess over tiny annoyances and ignore large, invisible taxes. They hate seeing multiple accounts. They barely notice a future penalty that has not happened yet. Present bias makes the problem worse. One login today feels better than flexibility 3 years from now. We are wired for immediate relief. Retirement planning punishes that wiring with taxes, penalties, and lost options. Wealthier households often protect optionality better. They know flexibility reduces the odds of forced bad decisions. That leads to the next decision point. A new employer plan can sometimes be better than both alternatives. If the new plan has low-cost index funds and accepts roll-ins, it may preserve backdoor Roth flexibility. It may also keep assets inside a workplace plan structure. For some households, that combination matters. So the question is not rollover or no rollover. The question is which destination preserves the most value. Run a simple checklist before moving anything. Compare fees, withdrawal access, Roth plans, company stock, and legal protections. If any one of those is unclear, slow down. Fast paperwork is not a financial strategy. This is where you have to make a choice. Most people choose the fastest signature. Then tax season arrives, or cash flow changes, or a market drop hits. Suddenly the hidden rules matter. Let's run Mike's numbers again. He needs $45,000 for 18 months before other income begins. Leave the money in the plan, and he may avoid $6,750 in penalty. Real savings. Roll first, and the penalty leak starts immediately. Bad timing can fund the government instead of Mike's bridge years. Now Sarah again. Leave her old plan alone, and the backdoor Roth path may stay much cleaner. Roll those assets into an IRA, and most of her conversion can become taxable. Same saver, different outcome. That is why honest retirement planning sounds less dramatic than social media. It is mostly about preserving good options. The most painful insight is this: many rollover mistakes are sold as simplification, not as mistakes. A neat account statement is not a plan. Lower friction is useful only after the math works. Confirmation bias makes this harder. We all prefer advice that agrees with what we already wanted. If you wanted one login, you will love rollover language. If you want flexibility, you have to question it. The deeper truth is bigger than one account transfer. Retirement security is often lost through tidy, convenient, avoidable decisions. Small penalties, higher fees, earlier distributions, and broken tax strategies stack quietly. They do not look dramatic at first. That is why smart people still get trapped. The system hides trade-offs inside forms and friendly conversations. So if this feels confusing, that does not mean you are behind. It means the incentives around you are messy. Your job is not to memorize every rule. Your job is to pause before making irreversible tax moves. Start with one action today. Call the old plan and ask 5 very specific questions before moving anything. Can I leave the money here? What are the total fees? Do age 55 withdrawals apply? Do I hold company stock? Can I do partial rollovers later if I want more control? Then compare those answers against a new employer plan and an IRA. That is the honest sequence. Use simple phrases when pressure shows up. Run the numbers first, and cash flow matters more than this purchase. Say this too: I am not optimizing for today's emotion, because emotion makes expensive decisions feel justified. And one more line matters. My priority is long-term flexibility, not faster paperwork or temporary relief. If this changed how you see your 401k, subscribe. Capital Decision Lab is built for calmer decisions. And tell me in the comments what matters most right now: access, taxes, fees, or peace of mind. Smart money decisions do not come from urgency. They come from clarity and a willingness to wait. When the paperwork is easy and the math is not, trust the math. Choose flexibility before convenience.